So let me start with the next concept. Basics of management audit. Already we have discussed at the first class, like what is management audit. Did you remember something like in a company, there is top level management, medium level management and lower level management. Out of these three levels of management, which management will be executing the strategic plans? Top level management. So plans will be formulated by the top level management and they will be guided for execution to medium level management, and then medium level management like supervisors, managers, etc. and etc. will be actually going with the plans. They will be executing the plans. And finally, lower level management or lower level staff, whoever are there, they will be a part of that plan. Correct or wrong? So it will be actually planned, it will be executed, and it will be followed. Something like that. Now, so to whom the salary will be more? Because say for example, if there are 100 employees, there might be 10 managers, but there is one CEO. Correct or wrong? For your kind information, to a single CEO of a company, he might receive crores and crores of amount. He might receive crores and crores of amount. See, in top level management, will there be only one CEO or many people will be there? Only one CEO or many other people will be there? No, there will be many other people. Likewise, there will be some board of directors. There will be chairman. There will be company secretary. There will be one chartered accountant. I am not telling about practicing chartered accountant. I am telling about a general cost chartered accountant who is a part of the company. So the point that you need to understand is all about, to this top level management, company is paying crores and crores of rupees. So if company is paying crores and crores of rupees, if company is investing on one particular person, will it wanted to know the efficiency of that person or not? Of course, yes. They would like to know the efficiency of that person. So in order to know the efficiency of the person, there will be an audit called as management audit, which will be conducted for the management, by the management, among the management themselves. Hope you have remembered this. Say for example, if there are 10 members in top level management, 9 members will be appointing to audit on that particular member. Hope you have got my point. Say if there are 10 members in the top level management, say for example, X is a person on whom you are doubting. So all the other 9 members will be conducting an audit on Mr. X. There will be another member, say for example Y. Now all the other 9 members will be conducting an audit on Y. Like that, each and every person is available to do the audit on the other person. But who will be appointed to do the audit? It is not known to any other persons. Clear everybody? Sir, will management audit has to be done secretly or openly? Of course secretly. If you are telling openly that I am having an eye on you, then automatically you will become too alert. Correct or wrong? Even though the mistakes that you have committed till now, you would like to cover them up. So management audit is always done in a very secrecy way. Clear everybody? So let us start. Basics of management audit. This is like common Latin name, Latin term audire, which means here that's common. Let's start.
Management audit, definition and scope. Management audit is the process of appraising the performance of directors, managers, or in the other words, appraising the performance of the management of an organization.
So it's like verifying the performance of a directors. What is the efficiency of the director? Whether he is enough efficient to run the business or not. Whether he is enough, whether he is having enough capability to go ahead with the plannings of the business or not. So it will be appraising, verifying the performance of a management or performance of the directors. Performance of the directors, performance of the managers, or performance of the management as a whole in a particular organization.
It attempts to look into all aspects of the management performance.
Hey, this is very, very important. Attempts to look into all aspects of the management performance, not the single aspect, all aspect. Sir, what do you mean by all aspects, sir? Very, very simple. Sir, just answer me one question. Do management means only one department or many departments will be there. Likewise, purchase department, sales department, research and development department, quality control department, accounts department, logistics department, distribution department, HR department, like that many departments will be there. So management audit is something that, which will be looking into each and every aspect, not just on a single aspect. It will be looking over to each and every aspects of the management.
Management audit does not concentrate on financial matters alone, as in the case of financial audit.
Hope you have remembered the concept of statutory audit and cost audit. Statutory audit is to audit the financial statements and expressing an opinion. Cost audit is to audit the cost statements and expressing an opinion. Correct or wrong? But management audit is not just like that. Management audit is also expressing an opinion at the end. But it is not just verifying the financial matters. It is something like the efficiency of the management, the performance of the management. Hope you are getting my point. So how efficient is the management? How the management is performing? Is it having enough capability or not? Is the person who is in the management is enough having enough capability or not? It will be checked out here.
It is the examination of effectiveness of management.
Effectiveness of management. How well it is capable. How well it is performing.
In controlling the total activities of an organization in the accomplishment of the organization objectives.
See, just I'll ask you one question. Your target, you are having a vision statement like by the year 2030. Say for example, if you take Reliance Industries Limited, it is giving you a vision statement like by 2030, it would like to have 80% in telecommunication sector. It would like to increase its share to 80% in telecommunication sector. Would you believe that or not? Can it be a believable objective or not? Yes. Hey, just listen very carefully. You have started Reliance Industries Limited had started right now itself. So it has introduced Jio right now itself. Just introduced. And it is telling, by the year 2040, I would like to grab 80% of the telecommunication sector. Is it a believable objective? No. Because at the time of starting, it is totally different. At the time of implementation, it is totally different. After grabbing the market, changing your objectives is totally different. Now what is your objective? To grab 80% of telecommunication market by 2030. That is your objective. But you are sitting like rock in the company. There is one person who is appointed as a manager, or there is one person who is appointed as a part of management, and that CEO is not giving any plans at all. He is giving plans, but he is not giving plans for expansions. He is just changing the existing plans. Will you be able to achieve the same target or not? Yes or no? No, it's not possible. So, accomplishment of the organizational objectives you have to do in order to reach the organizational objectives. You have to work accordingly. If you are not working like that, then how is it possible to achieve something in your life? How is it possible to achieve something in the company's life with respect to the company's objectives? Something like, if company objective is waved like this, but you are going in a reverse direction, is it possible to match it? No. At that time, you're going to get the management is efficient or inefficient.
Management audit deals with the objectives of an organization, the policies and procedures in terms of the objective of organization, and adequate performance of an organization in terms of objectives.
Did you remember I told something like it will be dealing with, management is something like initially it has to plan, and then they just need to execute the same, and finally they just need to follow the same. Planning, after planning they just need to execute the plan, and execution is nothing but, in another words, you have to follow that at the end of the day. Am I correct or wrong? Check out. First of all, what are your objectives of an organization? You study well. After studying the objectives, you draft the policies and procedures to achieve these objectives. Hey, drafting is not just enough. After drafting the plans and policies, you just need to follow those. Adequate performance is needed in order to achieve the objectives. Clear? For the first thing, you have to check for the objectives. To achieve the objectives, you should have a plan or policy, and to achieve that, you have to work, perform. Clear everybody? So these three are the objectives of management audit. Sir, నేను ముందే చెప్పాను మీకు, ఇక నుంచి మళ్ళీ మీ క్లాస్ ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే స్టార్టింగ్ చాప్టర్స్ చెప్పుకున్నాం కదా, like each and every word will be explained, each and every concept will be explained, some sort of practical examples will be given, like that itself. మొన్నటి వరకు మనం అలా చెయ్యలేకపోవడానికి రీజన్ ఏంటి అంటే కాస్ట్ అకౌంటింగ్ స్టాండర్డ్స్, wherein CAS 1 to CAS 4 we have done very slowly. From CAS 5 I have picked up the speed because everything is repetitive there. I have no option to tell anything new. అండ్ ఇంకా కాస్ట్ ఆడిటింగ్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ అంటారా, అది కూడా ఆ పంథాలోనే వస్తుంది, నథింగ్ గ్రేట్ ఎట్ ఆల్, సంథింగ్ లైక్ టూ రా. And the last chapter is majorly concentrated on the problematics rather than the existing theory. But from here it is not like that. You'll be getting some sort of questions. You have to understand each and everything and you have to present it properly. Anyways, let me continue. Sir, you can just go through the management audit definitions. Please go ahead. First one.
Management audit may be more specifically defined as being an investigation of a business from the highest level downwards in order to ascertain whether sound management prevails throughout, thus facilitating the most effective relationship with outside world and the most efficient organization and smooth running internally.
Point number 1. Is management audit conducted to know the business internally or externally? Internally, whether it can be smoothly run or not, it will be concentrated. Hey, just answer my question. Do the management audit is conducted on top level management or middle level management or lower level management? That is what highest level downwards. You just need to start your management audit from the highest level, thereby it will be just downward. Something like who is the top of the company? Chairman or CEO? Yes, in some cases it will be chairman. In the case of board meetings or something like that, in board meetings chairman is like a speaker. Ultimate power will be in the hands of chairman. Otherwise it will be generally in the hands of CEO. Clear everybody? Or even you can say MD, managing director. Clear everybody? After that you will be having some set of board of directors. After that you will be having some set of managers. This is what the general chain of the company. All these people together called as top level management. Now you may have a doubt on this person, where all these persons will be having an inquiry on CEO. One person will be appointed. Who is that person? That will be known only to your limited members. Getting my point, everybody? And say for example, the CEO is having doubt on one of the managers. Without knowing to board of directors, CEO may call one manager and he may ask to do the audit on another manager. Getting my point, everybody? If there are 10 board of directors, out of those 10 board of directors, 3 board of directors may decide themselves to do the audit on 6th board of director. Getting my point, everybody? Who will be appointed for that? Only these 3 people will be knowing. And the person who have appointed will be knowing. All the other people will not know that what is being happened at all. Sir, hope you have got the concept. So highest level downwards. And whether the sound management prevails or not, because at the end of the day you should have a sound management. Sound management is nothing but most efficient management, otherwise you cannot work out. That is what your definition, which is given by one of the author, Leslie Howard. And next one.
Management audit is performed with the objective of examining the efficiency of the information control system.
Efficiency of the information control system. My dear children, at the end of the day, there should be a proper information system between the departments of the management. Say for example, listen very, very carefully. Say for example, HR department work is to manage the employees properly. So HR department is having the list. So in its list, it is having something like 100 employees. In purchase department, there are 30 employees. In sales department, there are 20 employees. HR department thought that another 10 more employees needed for sales department. And HR department immediately recruited another 10 more employees for sales department. Immediately the sales department manager is calling HR manager that why you are recruiting? Why you're recruiting 10 more employees into our sales department? Now HR department told your employees are less as per my report. Yes sir, my employees are less, but our product can be easily sold in the market for which no more employees are needed. Getting my point, everybody? And purchase department manager is making a call to HR and he is telling that, sir, manufacturing our product includes lots and lots of hard work where 30 employees are not enough at all. Or we need to gather orders from different suppliers. So many of our agents need to go to suppliers and they just need to get the quotations properly. They are unable to do that. If the existing people are inefficient or existing people are less in number, we still want more. Or say for example, production department. So production department manager is calling, sir, 30 employees are not enough for us. We need another 20 more employees. Getting my point, everybody? We need another 30 more labor. We need another 20 more labor. So HR had taken a wrong decision. In order to take the inquiries with respect to production department, he had taken an inquiry with respect to sales department. And whoever the employees that you have adopted, you will be doing an interview to them from the view perspective of sales, but not from the view perspective of production department. So automatically there is some miscommunication. There is no information control properly. Say for example, 1 lakh goods are produced. You're supposed to sell this 1 lakh goods. And in sales department, there are only 10 employees where these 10 employees capable of producing 1000 units only. So how many units they can sell? What about the remaining 90,000 units of production? Produce is already ready. Now you have to start immediately selling the goods. But existing employees are unable to do that. They can't take more than that burden. There is a maximum burden that could be taken by sales department. There is no proper information communication between production department and sales department, because of which your company will be, your management will be hampered, because of which you cannot perform in a better way. Correct or wrong? So information control system is very, very important in order to take the company to its achieving the goals of the management or goals of the enterprise.
Management audit is an analysis and assessment of the competencies and capabilities of a company's management in carrying out corporate objectives.
At the end of the day, each and every company is having its own objectives. Whether our management is able to reach that objectives or not, whether our management is able to pick up that objectives or not, for that picking to reach at that position, whether our management is having enough competency and enough capability or not. If it is not, if it is inefficient, you just need to replace immediately. If it is efficient, no need to replace anybody of them. Something like TCS, around established more than 120 years or 150 years. Correct or wrong? Reliance Industries Limited, of course, now they have actually separated, but even that is also a company which is established before, more than 100 years. Generations to generations, the companies are being run. How can they run? All the time, let them identify their inefficiencies. And those inefficiencies have to be replaced with efficiencies. Otherwise, how could it be possible? Correct or wrong? So management audit is conducted. Management audit is to identify the capability of the management, performance of the management, efficiency of the management, even inefficiency of the management. Only then the inefficiencies can be replaced with the efficiencies.
The purpose of a management audit is not to appraise individual executive performance, but to evaluate the management team in its effectiveness to work in the interest of shareholders, maintain good relations with employees, and uphold reputational standards.
My dear children, management audit is not only on an individual person, whether he is capable or not, whether as a whole of management you are capable or not. Whether as a whole of the management you are capable of achieving the said objectives, achieving the said goals or not. So it's not just only on an individual person, but it is on the entire team as a whole. Clear, everybody? That is another definition which is given by Investopedia. Sir, ivanni by heart cheyalsina avasaram aithe ledu, but you just remember at least one of the definitions. That is highly enough. Next.
Auditor has to be very careful while conducting the management audit, as the subject of the audit is the top management of the company and their decision making capabilities.
Sir, this is very, 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 very important. Whoever the person is appointed as a management audit, he has to be very, very, very careful, because he is doing audit on the top level management. Say for example, one manager is appointed to do the audit on a CEO. Hope you have got my intention. Or one board of director is appointed to do the audit on another 3 board of directors. You are showing your finger to the person who is at least at the par with you, or you are showing the finger at least to the person who is above you. It's not like below. I can command you, but you cannot command me. Hope you have got my point. If I was appointed to do the audit of one management of one company, say if I was an employee of that particular organization, and for 5 of our employees have gone grouped together to do the audit on one particular person, we are having doubt that that particular person is involved in fraud. Now, can I tell directly that, hey, you have committed fraud? No, first of all, show me the proof. Correct or wrong? Peer reviews. One director is conducting audit on another director. Something like I'm calling, hey, come here, bring me all your records. What is it possible? How is it possible? Hope you're getting my point. One board of director is asking another board of director. Say for example, one board of director is taking over to purchase department, and another board of director is hardly involved in sales department. So now purchase department director is asking the sales department director to bring all the records of sales. Will he? Why should he, first of all? Because whatever the level of purchase department director, even the same level of capability, I mean same level of authority and power is also there on another person. So it's not possible. So you have to conduct management audit in a very friendly tone. It should not be in an authoritative tone. It should be in a very friendly tone, not an authoritative tone. You're showing your finger either to the top level of the management or to your equal peer level of the management. Something like peer reviews you might have heard, a kind of that thing. So you have to be very, very careful, since the audit is subject matter to the top level management of the entire company. If anything goes wrong, entire company will collapse. If anything goes wrong, literally entire company will collapse. So you have to be very, very careful.
Any adverse comment of the auditor that is without adequate backup or supporting evidences may ignite friction in the management.
May ignite friction is nothing but something like that. May ignite friction is nothing but among themselves the harmony will disturb a lot and lot. There might be no co-calculation to achieve the objectives of the company or the organization. Among themselves there might be a kind of cold war might have been started. So you have to be very, very careful. While you're showing an adverse comment, you're supposed to give the proof. You're supposed to give the adequate backup. Otherwise, it is going to ignite the friction, something like there will be no harmony among themselves.
Further, in the absence of statutory guidelines for
this is another hardest problem, Abba. See, cost audit, how to conduct the audit, what are the reports that you have to prepare, what are the reports to whom you have to file, within how many days, who has to sign, everything is clearly given in Companies Act 2013. And also companies cost accounting rules. Correct or wrong? But in management audits, there is no statutory guidelines. Within how many days, how you have to conduct audit, to whom you have to submit the audit report, how your audit report must be, how you have to gather the evidences, for how many days you have to store. Nothing is there. Nothing is there. So how hard it is? See, it's as simple as such. If anybody is guiding you, you can do it very freely. Something like cost audit, something like statutory audit. But management audit, nothing is there. Simply something like it's an investigation. You have done a fraud. That fraud must be exposed with proper evidences. What sort of statutory guidelines you will be having for that? You have to use your brain. So there are no statutory guidelines to conduct management audit.
Hence, Further, in the absence of statutory guidelines for conduct of this audit, no clear-cut or square-jacketed methodology can be defined to carry out this audit.
No clear-cut methodology or square-jacketed methodology. Square-jacketed methodology is nothing but some sort of closed methodology is not there. Some sort of rules and regulations, stubborn rules and regulations are not there. So it is making to conduct this cost audit, management audit very difficult.
Hence, the dynamism renders riskiness to this type of non-statutory audit.
Of course it is risky. If anything goes wrong, the employee or the manager who is appointed to do the management audit on one particular person, he may fire you. And you can't question for that. Or all the other directors might group together to fire that person who have conducted the audit. Nobody can question unless and until the persons who have appointed them are voicing the same out. Hope you have got my point. Sir, will there be any appointment letter for that? Hardly no. Say for example, 3 board of directors are appointing one manager to do the audit on 4th and 5th board of directors. 4th and 5th board of directors have come to know that this person is having an eye on them. So they have decided with all the other persons, like let us fire that manager. He is doing some frauds. They may wantedly show, even though they are not doing any wrong, they may wantedly show that that manager is doing wrong and he might be fired out. So it's very, very difficult. It's very, very risky. And also you cannot point out on your peer all the time. Many ego clashes will come. Many ego clashes will come. So you have to be very, very careful while conducting the management audit.
Difference between cost audit and management audit.
I don't think this is hardly needed because already you know this one. So it will be completed very fast. Just go ahead.
Meaning, it is a verification of cost audit. It is a verification of cost records to measure the internal efficiency of a business.
I hope there's no doubt in that. To measure the internal efficiency, you just need to verify the cost records.
Management audit, it is intended to develop the relationships with the outside world and internal efficiency of a business.
Outside world and internal efficiency. You just need to link those two things in order to conduct a management audit.
Objective.
You might get it out how the outside world is connected, sir. Because you might be having one objective and where you have to deal at last with the public itself. See, the manufacturing process, which is totally internal, it is nowhere related to the public. But at the end of the day, your company is obviously related to the public. Correct or wrong? So it is connecting, first of all, inside you have to be well. And only then outside you can perform with the world well. Inside, if you are having many ego clashes and if at all you are not performing well, outside you may not get a proper outcome. Correct or wrong? That's very important.
Objective. The cost auditor checks the cost accounting records.
Yes.
The management auditor investigates objectives and actions of the management.
Yes. What are the objectives of the management? What are the actions of the management? What are the plans of the management? How they are following, etc.
Requisite qualification.
So do management audit require any qualification? No. Hardly having greater idea is enough. Greater idea on the company, greater idea on the person, or enough tactics, or he should have a proper knowledge. But cost audit is not like that. He should become a PCA, practicing cost accountant. Otherwise, you can conduct the same. And also the management audit who are going to conduct, they should have an idea on the company. Like what kind of controls they are implementing, what kind of logistics that they are having, what kind of distributions, what kind of departments, what kind of plannings, etc. and etc. Next.
The cost audit statutory obligation. The cost audit is made.
Statutory obligation. Is the cost audit compulsory or not? Yes, as per the set turnover limits, if they have crossed something like individually 25 on an overall 50 you are having, right? Cost audit I'm speaking, not to maintain cost records. So cost audit is mandatory as per statutory obligations if the companies have reached the set target limits. But management audit is not at all a statutory obligation and it is not at all a mandatory item.
Tenure.
Yes, cost audit is generally done for 1 year. But management audit, there is nothing like that. Something like, to tell you, scope of cost audit is narrow, whereas scope of management audit is comparatively wider.
Auditor, only independent chartered accountant or cost accountant.
Yes, in some cases, if there are no enough cost accountants, you can also hire a chartered accountant. Even now also there is that provision, but very least important, I told you. In case of, yes, last option. It will be like a last option. So only independent persons can be appointed. Whereas even coming to management audit also, see, all the time a person who is conducting audit must be dependent or independent. Even management auditor should also be independent. See, all the time, don't think that management auditor doesn't mean that a new person will come and do the audit. Among themselves, one person will be a management auditor. That's it. Even he should be independent and he should have good knowledge about the company and the organization.
Report.
Report has to be submitted by the cost auditor within the set time limits to the board of directors or to CAG. I'm sorry, not CAG. What is that called? MCA, central government. Whereas coming to management audit, there is no time frame. You can submit as and when the target is completed. That's it.
Coverage of management audit.
Yes.
It covers the...
So just you observe this diagram. Management audit is covering not only one particular aspect of the management, it will be covering many departments, and it is something called as operational management or efficiency audit. To tell you, my dear children, did you ever hear the concept of internal audit? Yes or no? Management audit is a part of internal audit. Management audit is a part of internal audit. Will you admit or not? See, internal audit is conducted internally or externally to check whether the internal controls are proper or not. Management audit is also a kind of internal audit, because whether the internal controls that are being implemented by the management are proper or not, whether the company is efficient or not, internal audit, whether the management is efficient or not, management audit. So management audit is a part of, and the next is all about operational audit. Operational audit and management audit are the part of internal audit itself. Of course, now our concentration is extending only on management audit. We are having the further chapters where you are going to learn internal audit, internal control and operational audit in one chapter. Now our concentration is extending only on management audit, which is also called as efficiency audit. Audit on management is nothing but management audit. So manufacturing department, organization department, personnel, that is like staff department, administration department, marketing department, finance department, HR department, accounts department, of course accounts or finance one and the same, sales department, purchase department, quality control department, research and development department. Getting my point, everybody? Like that, many other departments you might have in a management.
How is management different from administration?
Already I have discussed this kind of thing. How is management different from administration? Different from administration. It's like very, very simple. Sir, administration in the sense you just need to execute the plans properly. Whereas management in the sense they will be drafting the plans. They will be having some sort of strategic plans will be formulated by the management, generally will be executed is called as administration. Execution work is like administration. Formulation work is like management. So top level management will be always formulating the plans and they will be giving the rules and regulations like how to follow, how to implement the plans to the managers, and then the lower level managers or whoever are there will be asking the employees to work. Hope you have got my point. Always remember, my dear children, what is that called? Faceless interactions. Nowadays, this has been a something, what is that called? Overnight change. Nowadays, this is like an overnight change. Faceless interactions. Nobody will be interacting. Something like whether you are listening to, whether you are understanding the class properly or not. Right from sitting in their cabin of the management, they can collect the information. They will be just sending one checklist to the to your in charge, and he might ask you to fill that. Whether teacher is teaching everything, whether is he teaching in English or not, whether is he taking, is he clarifying your doubts or not. Something like one checklist will be given. That's it. Correct or wrong? This is what happens in internal audit. Checklist. Something like tick and wrong. Yes or no. Simple answers. So nowadays faceless interactions are like greatly developing, and where that concept, this plan will be formulated by the management, will be executed by the lower level staff, which is called as administration. Please read it.
Administration is concerned with the structure of the organization and the mechanism of its operations, whereas management relates to the leadership and direction of the people, the way in which they are controlled to exercise their functions within the administrative framework.
See, administration is concerned with structure of the organization and mechanism of its operations. How the organizational structure is, how it has to follow, how the mechanism of operations, how the operations are supposed to being done. That is administration. Whereas management relates to leadership and direction of the people. What are the organizational objectives? They need to check out what are the organizational objectives. According to that organizational objectives, they just need to follow the plans. I mean, they just need to draft the plans. And those plans must be implemented where it is called as administration, leadership, management, implementation, administration. Clear, everybody? Whereas while drafting that plans, management needs to take care about the objectives of the organizations. Something I told you at the initial stage, if your organizational way is something like this, but you are going it in a different way, it is not possible to achieve the objective. So your plan should co-curriculate and your plan should correlate to the objective. Otherwise, you cannot reach the organizational objectives.
Management audit should not be confused with organizational audit or administrational audit, which may form part of management audit. Management audit by concept goes into the details of managerial effectiveness in conducting the operations of an organization.
See, don't confuse your management audit with organizational audit and administrational audit, which may form part of management audit. In management audit, organizational audit or administrational audit is one of the audit. Clear, everybody? Where I told you operational audit. Did you get my point? That is also called as organizational audit or administrational audit, or it is also called as operational audit. Okay. So as for your kind information, management audit is a part of internal audit, but it is not a part of operational audit. But not it is a part of organizational audit. Organizational audit in the sense right from top till bottom, whether your organization is performing better or not. Administrational audit in the sense top level management will be asking the lower level management whether the employees are working properly or not. Give a report on that, which is called as an administrational audit. Hope you have got my point. Administrational audit is something like top level management will be asking the lower level management. Say board of directors may ask one manager to collect the report on 10 number of employees or to collect the report on the employees whether they are working properly or not, which is called as administrational audit. Organizational audit is nothing but right from top till bottom. The whole problems of the organization will be addressed in organizational audit. But management audit is not like that. Management audit is concerned with the effectiveness and the performance of the management. It is dedicated and it is limited only to the management part, but not on the administration's part, but not on the operations part. It is something like drafting the plans. It is something like whether the management is capable of drafting the plans or not. My dear children, remember one thing. Without plan, nobody can work. Without plan, nobody can work. Planning is very much important. So to plan, so top level management will not do greater works. They will be using their brain. Lower level management has to use their body. బుర్ర వాడేవాడు టాప్ లెవెల్లో కూర్చుంటారు, ఒళ్ళు వాడేవాడు చివరి లెవెల్లో ఉంటారు. హార్డ్ వర్కింగ్, స్మార్ట్ వర్కింగ్, దట్ ఈస్ ద హార్డెస్ట్ డిఫరెన్స్, మేనేజ్మెంట్ అండ్ ఆపరేషన్స్. Hope you have got the concept. Take more care. Next.
Agency theory of management, the propeller of management.
See, agency theory of the management, which is like the sayer of the management or the propeller of the management audit. I mean, like the need for management audit. Asal management audit enduku anakodaniki, the answer is like agency theory of the management. So what is agency theory of the management? My dear children, whose funds are there in the companies? Shareholders' funds. Can shareholders interfere in the day-to-day management of the company? No, it is not at all possible. Board of directors will restrict. You may ask a question. Why? It is their money, but why the shareholders are not being a part of management? because shareholders are huge in number. If they interfere in day-to-day operations, they cannot do the work properly. So shareholders are in large in number. Shareholders are large in number, and they will be appointing some members as board of directors. And very, very important, my dear children, whoever the persons that are appointed as board of directors, they will be strictly telling at the first instance itself, we are working for you. Your funds are employed in the company. We were appointed only by you. But we are very sorry, you are not allowed to participate in the day-to-day management at any cost. You are not supposed to interfere at all. We will work on behalf of you. Hope you have got my point. So now tell me, who are the principal of the company? Who is the principal of the company? Shareholder or the management? Shareholder. Management is like agency. Whose funds are employed? Board of directors are telling, we will work on behalf of you. We will work for you. So shareholders are the principals and board of directors are like agents. So management is like agent. And the principal is nothing but shareholder. At the end of the day, board of directors are answerable to the shareholder if anything goes wrong. That is the reason AGM is organized, wherein all the management along with auditor will be addressing the general meeting, AGM. So if any doubts are there, if any problems are there, if any frauds are occurred, see, if any fraud is identified by the shareholder, first shareholder will be questioning whom? Auditor. Why did not you identify this fraud? If that fraud is identified by the auditor, then they will be questioning the directors. Like, why did you commit this fraud? Sir, if auditor did not identify the fraud, or if auditor did not express his opinion properly, then aggrieved parties or shareholders themselves. Shareholders will be telling only one thing. We are large in number. We can't manage the company. So we have entrusted our responsibility to board of directors. But sometimes here or there, we are not having trust on the board of directors, and hence we appointed you as an auditor to do the audit. But even you have joined hands with them. At the end of the day, the aggrieved parties are shareholders. Why they should suffer actually? Sir, at the end of the day, whether cost audit, management audit, operational audit, internal audit, everything is conducted only for the purpose of shareholders only. Because their funds are involved in the company. Correct or wrong? Okay. So agency relationship is nothing but two parties will be there. Something like, hope you know the concept of consignor and consignee relationship. Who is agent? Who is principal? Who is participating in the day-to-day transactions? Consignee will be doing. Correct or wrong? Whereas a principal will be ordering. Correct or wrong? Who will be hired? Consignee, that is like agent. Who will be hiring? Consignor, that is like principal. Correct or wrong? Who will be given a commission? That is like agent. The same logic will be applicable here also. Board of directors are hired for the company. Board of directors are given remuneration, which is nothing but commission. That is nothing but managerial commission. Hope you have got the concept now why it is called as managerial commission. Next paragraph. This is all general paragraph only. And if you observe the last line, most commonly, the relationship is the one between shareholders or stakeholders as principal and the company executives as agents. Company executive is nothing but board of directors or management.
Management audit extends to examination of accountability between the management and others at large. Audit mechanism.
Read it once again.
Management audit extends to examination of accountability between the management and others at large.
Others in the sense, who are others here? Shareholders at large. So management audit is acting as a bridge. Management audit will be, pooling some of confidence between the management and the shareholders. Because shareholders are large in number. Management is small. But the hardest work is in the hands of management. Shareholders will not interfere at all. But their funds are being managed by the management. board of directors, whether they are doing properly or not. The thing will be conducted, which is called as a management audit, which is acting as a bridge between the management and the shareholders.
Audit mechanisms ensures this accountability.
Yes, because that is a responsibility of the management. They have taken it as a responsible choice and they have started to work. Correct or wrong? If at all a person is not interested to work in a company, why would he be appointed as a board of directors? After his appointment, immediately he has to give a resignation letter or he should deny the appointment. But after getting appointed, he cannot work in he cannot work in a lavish way. He cannot work with his own essence. He has to strive hard for achieving the organizational objectives, and he is just an agent to the shareholders. He should not forget that. So he should feel responsible for the work that he is doing.
Since the right to exercise control lies entirely with a different set of people away from the owners, the examination of accountability and ensuring shareholders and other participants' welfare becomes important.
Hope you have understood. Since the right to exercise control lies entirely with different set of people away from the owners. Who are the owners of the company? Who is in whose hands ownership is there? Ownership. Company is an artificial person. Ownership is in the hands of the company. Hope you have got my point. If company is purchasing a building, if company is purchasing a building is purchased in whose name? Shareholder's name or company name? So company is the owner. So ownership is in the hands of company, but it is not having the physical parts to take care. So that will be taken care by the shareholders. Correct or wrong? Who are the owners of the company? Shareholders. Ownership is in the hands of. At the end of the day, the total management will be taken care by the. Three parties are involved, amma. Number 1 is shareholders, number 2 is company, number 3 is board of directors. మీరు రెండే ఆలోచిస్తున్నారు, ఆ మూడోది వదిలేస్తున్నారు. Who are the owners of the company? Ownership is in the hands of. Management will be done by the. 3 things or 3 different aspects. Clear everybody? So at the end of the day, ownership, even though it is not in the hands of control is, since the control is not in the hands of shareholders and control is in the hands of board of directors, they should be more accountable to the persons who have endorsed the control. Clear? Who is endorsing the control? Now who is managing the company? Board of directors. So they should feel more accountable and more responsible towards the shareholders and their funds. Something like agency theory is given. So principal, shareholders, they employs agents, appoints directors. So directors are accountable to shareholders. And next, the Y directors are appointed to manage the company on behalf of the shareholders. Correct or wrong? That is what simple agency theory of the management.
The question of audit arises only because of the ownership of many companies. Ownership of many companies is widely spread between a large number of shareholders, and the running of the organization lies with people holding comparatively a small portion of the equity.
I don't think I need to explain the same again. Something like large people or shareholders with whom the with whom the owned funds are there, but running is not in their hands. Running is in the hands of board of directors. So that is the reason why the management audit is arising.
This dichotomy of dispersed ownership and entrenched management necessitates.
This dichotomy is nothing but this sort of element. Ante ee situation valla, the meaning is something like this. This dichotomy in this context or because of this scenario. What is that scenario? Dispersed ownership and entrenched management. Ownership is ownership is dispersed and management is attached. Did you get my point? Sir, just think from a viewpoint of sole proprietor. He is the owner. Ownership is in the hands of himself. Control is in the hands of himself. But since the same is not possible in the hands of a company, ownership is dispersed. That is like shareholders have dispersed and it is endorsed and management is entrenched to do the same. Hope you have got the logic. So it is necessitating the management audit. Next.
Objectives of a management audit.
Okay.
Appraise the management performance at all levels.
Already we have discussed. Purchase department, selling department, at all levels, you just need to appraise each and everything very, very carefully. Management audit is not just limited only to one aspect. It is for all the departments.
Highlight the decisions or activities that are not in conformity with organizational activity.
Already we have discussed this one. Highlight the decisions or activities that are not in conformity with the organizational objectives. Likewise, I told you 2 to 3 times, your objectives are paved in this way, but you are going in a different way. Then you have to highlight that. You have to highlight that your plan is wrong. It is not intact with the organizational objectives. So immediately withdraw that plan and draft a new plan which is in line with the organizational objectives.
Ascertain that objectives are properly understood at all levels.
At all levels. That is like you have to draft a plan that each and every level has to follow. See, management is drafting a plan. After the drafting plan done by the management, it has to be followed by each and every level of management. Am I correct or wrong? So if your plan is in such a way that it is not understandable to one particular department, then it is going to affect the entire organization. So you have to draft a plan or you have to set the objectives in such a way that it must be properly understood at each and every level of the management.
Ascertain that controls provided at different levels are adequate and effective in accomplishing management objectives or plans of operations.
So already even this is also discussed. So objectives is nothing but till now whatever you have discussed, it will be just like kept in one line, which is nothing but objectives. Even this is also discussed. Something like if the controls information control system దగ్గర చెప్పా కదా, if the things are not adequate, if the information communication is not adequate, then it is going to affect the entire management. Am I correct or wrong? So ascertain the controls provided at different levels are adequate. So at different levels of management, it must be adequate. There must be adequate controls. Otherwise, you cannot work in a better way. And effective in accomplishing the management objectives or plans of operations. Likewise, organization is having one plan. In line with that plan, you just have to draft a policy, and that policy must be adequate. That control must be adequate at each and every level.
Evaluate plans which are projected to meet objectives.
That is very, very important. Something like I asked you. Just now Jio had introduced, Reliance Communication had introduced Jio. And it is telling that by 2030, we would like to get the leadership in telecommunication market. Will anybody believe that? Obviously no. Because see here, evaluate the plans which are projected to meet the objectives. They should not be too hypothetical. They should not be too hypothetical. They should be in such a way that there should be in such a way that you are about to achieve the target. There should be some achievable plan. It should be an achievable plan. It should not be a hypothetical plan. In the same way here also you have to evaluate so as to meet the objectives properly. It should not be a hypothetical plan.
Review the company's organizational structure, that is assignment of duties and responsibilities and delegation of authority.
So you have to review the organizational structure. Once in a while or once or the other time, you just need to review the organizational structure, like how the top level, how the medium level, how the bottom level, how each and every, for how many set of people there is one team leader. For how many team leaders there is one manager. For how many managers there is one supreme board of director authority. And how many board of directors numbers are there, and how many CS are required for a company. Getting my point, everybody? So that has to be reviewed properly. And also assignment of duties, to whom the duty is assigned, how the duty is assigned, how they are accountable for that duty. So everything must be properly planned out.
To ensure optimum utilization on all the resources employed, including money, materials, machines, men and methods.
Optimum utilization of resources. I hope you know the concept. Something like resources. Men is a resource, money is a resource, material is a resource, method is a resource, machine is a resource. You have to use each and every resource to the optimum utilization level. That is like maximum level. You should not waste anything. Something like, say for example, yesterday we have seen one question. Capacity ratio, efficiency ratio, something like that. See, their budgeted plan is to produce 880 units. But you have produced only 750 units. In the sense, the optimum utilization of resources is not being done. Correct or wrong? So, it should not be done like that. You have to utilize your, you have to have some optimum utilization of resources. No resource must be wasted.
To highlight efficiencies in objectives, policies, procedures, and planning.
To highlight the efficiencies in your objectives, in your policies, in your procedures, in your planning, you just need to highlight the efficiencies. Because at the end of the day, not only inefficiencies, efficiencies will be counting a part. So management audit is done not only to replace the inefficiencies with efficiencies, also what are the efficiencies that you are having, you just highlight that, and after highlighting, since this is your efficiency part, you just need to work in this way more in order to achieve the organizational goals faster.
To suggest improvement in methods of operation.
Nothing great to discuss it at all. To suggest methods of improvement in operations. You are having one operation, how it can be done in a better way. If any possibilities are there, just suggest the same.
To highlight weak links in organizational structure and in internal control systems and suggest necessary improvements.
Yes, if any weak links in international organizational structure. Say for example, something like a gold chain. Right from starting till ending, it is very good. But somewhere at this point, the link is not proper. So automatically entire gold chain may fall. So even the organizational link is also like that. If there is any weak link in our entire organizational structure, then entire organization will collapse. So you have to identify that and you have to highlight the same. If any weak links are there in organizational structure or internal control systems, and you need to suggest the improvements.
To help management by providing health indicators and help prevent sickness or help cure in case of sickness.
This can be understood in two ways. Number one, if any threats are there or if any sickness is there in any department, then immediately the sickness must be identified and they just need to convert that sickness into a curable way, and just they would like to convert it in a healthy way. Something like, say for example, I already told you that production department and sales department. Sales department, there is no enough staff. In purchase department, in production department, you have got good output. Something like 1 lakh units are there. But your capability is selling only 10,000 units. Then automatically remaining 90,000 units. It is going in a hard situation. Immediately you have to start employing your persons. Am I correct or wrong? Employees in sales department. If now you have employed them, how many days they will take the training? And automatically experienced people will sell more. New people will sell obviously at a lesser targets itself. So that is a concept here. So this is a kind of sickness. This has to be eradicated out in a healthy way. Clear everybody? Next.
To anticipate problems
and also in another way it can be understood as if any employees of the management or if any persons of the management are having sickness, they must be given an opportunity to take the leave, or they must be given an opportunity to develop their health properly. Even it can be understood in that way also. Next.
To anticipate problems and suggest remedies to solve them in time.
Hope you have got that. First of all, you have to identify the problems, and after identify the problems, you just need to suggest the remedies for the same. Clear everybody? So at this point I'm stopping, and from needs or benefits we'll be continuing in the tomorrow's section.